What's up, guys? It is Sam here, and today I wanted to talk about the total number of milligrams that you're taking of compounds versus the total quantity of compounds you're taking, like HGH, or peptides, SARMs, gear, insulin, other types of growth factors. There's two different ideas in terms of what it means to be taking a lot. Is it the sheer quantity of items that you're taking, or is it the sheer amount in terms of the number of milligrams you're taking on a weekly basis? Of which one is it? So we wanted to talk about that in this video. But first, if this is your first time here, what's good? My name is Sam, and for those of you who are returning, it is good to freaking see you. So, two quick things. If you stay to the end of the video, I'm going to tell you how you can enter to win a free bottle of Cardarine. Super easy. I'll even pay for the shipping on that at the end of the video. Second is none of this is any recommendation that you do anything that I do in these videos. It's strictly for entertainment purposes under by doctor's supervision. Okay, now let's get into the video. I drew a little diagram right here. On the vertical axis, we have the quantity. So this you can look at this as the quantity of compounds that are being taken. And if you look at the horizontal axis, right, we have the total number of milligrams that somebody is taking. Now, which one, right, is considered a lot? Is it if you're taking 4 grams a week, is that a lot? Yeah, right? Or is it that you're taking 8 different compounds a week, right? A lot. Well, those both in and of themselves could be saying that you're taking a lot. For some reason, this footage only saved at 480 instead of 1080, so I don't know why. It's a little blurry here, apologize. But either one of those individually could be looked at as taking a lot, but if you look at the total number of milligrams that you take, that's way more ambiguous, but a better absolute measure of what somebody's taking on the one hand, because somebody could be taking, say, 3 grams a week of 8 different compounds. And I feel like that's going to get you way better results and less side effects. Think of it as in the stock market, where you have the diversification that comes with purchasing multiple assets. The diversification, for those of you not in finance or not familiar with diversification, is essentially just reducing risk by maintaining or increasing the expected return on something. So you're spreading your risk out and diversifying that risk. Instead of having all your eggs in your basket, like your mom used to say, you're essentially moving your eggs into multiple different baskets. So if one basket drops, you're still good because you have all your other eggs in your other baskets. Now, when you switch up compounds and you have 8 different compounds, let's say, there's minimum effective dosages for all these compounds, where once you go above those minimum effective dosages, by the way, at the end of this video, I'm also going to get into how I break down what I'm taking exactly. But a minimum effective dosage for each individual compound, I feel like almost changes when you take multiple compounds and you put them together. It almost makes the minimum effective, so say if you have 5 different compounds and there's a minimum effective dosage of, say, 50 milligrams a day for all 5 compounds, now in isolation. Now, when you look at those as a group that was going to be stacked together, because they're stacking together, some compounds work synergistically together. So if you're strategically structuring a cycle to have compounds that are working together and have some synergistic effect, the minimum effective dose, instead of being 50 milligrams for each one of the 5 compounds, maybe you could do something like 35 milligrams per compound for 5 compounds, or say 30 just for this example, instead of taking 5 times 5 and having 250 milligrams for these 5 compounds, you could have these 5 compounds and be taking 150 milligrams to reduce the side effects that you would get, or reduce and diversify away some of that risk that's associated with higher dosages of taking compounds. Now, tends to be the approach that I take with what I do. In this, I'm probably sitting at around 230 pounds, and probably around 10 or 11% body fat here. But I'm just going to use myself as an example here. I take around 175 to maybe 250 on a high week of testosterone. Most of the time it's around 200 to 275. Every once in a while, say if I'm going to be going to do something or spending a bunch of time outside or with the shirt off, then I'll jump up to 250, which is, I think it's enanthate, so it's 250 per ml. And I generally will only take daily injections, but it will only be 5 to 6 days a week, or something like 35 milligrams per day, roughly. Generally speaking, it's just marginally under 35 milligrams per day. And then I will stack that with SARMs, somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 to maybe 30 milligrams of SARMs on a high day. And then I will also stack that with something like a secretagogue like MK677 or a hexarelin peptide for HGH. And using these at different times throughout the day for the effects that I'm looking for, and then the pre-workout stack is just something completely different. But it doesn't have anything to do. The pre-workout stack is generally going to be SARMs along with, say, maybe weed or DMAA, or pre-workout with weed or pre-workout with DMAA, or all three of them together, or some other thing along those lines, or Viagra or Cialis. And the effect from this is that you can get things, and the SARMs are not just one SARM at 10 milligrams per day or one SARM at 30 milligrams per day every day. That is actually rotated. So I'm not going to get used to, my body's always searching for a state of equilibrium, because I'm not giving it the same compounds every single day. I'm always switching those compounds up, generally intra-week. So this is what puts me up at closer to that, say, 8 to 10 different types of compounds. But when you actually look at the total number of milligrams I'm taking, it might be something more like this, right? Where it's a lot more on terms of the quantity of compounds that I'm taking, but the actual milligrams that I'm taking is substantially less. And I wanted to show you another example of how I actually reduce the total number of milligrams while allowing my body to almost super compensate. And there is some literature out there that points to, that indicates there is a actual something, they call it something different in the literature, but it's something like super compensating when taking time off and then going back into it. And I take that same type of philosophy and apply it to what I'm doing with the SARMs. So the SARMs, generally speaking, are going to have a very short half-life. So Monday through Friday will be generally workout days. Friday, we'll say at 5 o'clock is the last time I take that. So by Monday, most of those are going to be completely out of my system, and that's when I can jump back into and get that super compensation from the androgen receptors resensitizing. My body's still looking for a state of homeostasis, and some people don't believe that your body desensitizes to androgens. However, because there is other literature that points like that, obviously the more androgens you take, the bigger you can get, but at the same time, you're increasing the risk profile for the different types of side effects you're going to have. Whereas if you just use common sense and you think of like, okay, well, if I drink every single day, as time goes on, I need to drink more because my body's adapted. So whether you want to call it desensitizing your androgen receptors or some other fucking thing, your body is adapting to what you're taking for it to be less effective. So how can you compensate for that? Well, I don't take it on the weekend. So for about 3 days, this gets out of my system. Right now, my body's trying to adapt to what it's like not having any compounds in my system. Extra androgens on top of testosterone. And I might still take a secretagogue like MK677 on the weekends, a hexarelin Monday through Friday. Like on workout days, I'll use that maybe as a pre-workout or something. But this way, my total milligrams for the week, say if I'm taking 200 milligrams of test that week, and if I was to do 30 milligrams on the higher end for SARMs, that would be 210 plus 200, 410 milligrams per week. But I take those weekends off, so there's 60 milligrams off there, and that puts me at 350 milligrams per week at the high end of what I would be taking, and then um, excluding the hexarelin, because that's generally going to be like 1 to like 1.5 milligrams a week. It's a very trivial amount, even though it is a very strong compound on a milligram per milligram basis. The total quantity of milligrams is actually super low. So I'm not even factoring in it, but if you added in 1 more milligram or 2 more milligrams to it, generally it's never going to be 2 milligrams because I take 200 micrograms per injection on that. But anyways, the effect of it is that the total amount of androgens on milligram per milligram basis, including testosterone, is much lower than if I were to just take one compound like testosterone and I wanted to see the same type of effects. I can't necessarily get the same effects from just one compound that I would get from a variety of different compounds. And because the compounds work together synergistically, it allows me to, on a macro level, to take even less. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are down below in the comment section. If you guys use the hashtag Stolt, then we could talk about your comment at the end of the next video. Hashtag Stolt, the name of the channel. Now, if you want to win your own bottle of Carteret for research purposes, of course, you can go to the link down below, the link tree in the description. There's going to be about 5 or 6 different things that come up there. If you just scroll to the bottom, it says like free stuff, and just punch in your email address. I will get your email and put you on that list. So the drawing is going to be for May 1st. And I'll just email out who the winner is, and I'll probably tweet out who actually won. So if you would like to win or enter to win a free bottle, I'll even ship it out. Then make sure you punch in your email. If you guys have any questions in the meantime, jump over to Instagram, say what's good. Appreciate you guys. Peace.